Hi, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Jill, and today we're here to talk to you about our 7-day cruise we took on the Royal Caribbean Liberty of the Seas out of Galveston, Texas.
Yeah, this is a ship that was built in 2007, and it holds 3,800 people, up to 5,000, depending on the occupancy, which is, I believe, probably the largest ship we've ever been on.
Yes.
And on top of that, there's 1,300 crew that's also staying aboard. So Liberty was refurbished in 2016, and so it'd been refurbished a couple years before we've been on it. And we took this cruise in August of 2019. So when we got on Liberty of the Seas in Galveston, what was your first impression? This, by the way, was our first Royal Caribbean cruise, or at least my first ever. It was your second.
It was my second.
Our first together in North America. So what did you think when you first got on the Liberty of the Seas?
It was very large, for sure. I felt the size of the ship. It was very well decorated, lots of different things to look at and see. It was a little overwhelming. Maybe for our first one.
For sure. It was my first experience of the inside a ship concept. I'm used to ships where everything is on the outer edges and there's rooms, and this was kind of interesting to walk into that promenade and see what that looks like on a Royal Caribbean ship. My first experience of that, and first experience obviously with a ship this big with all the bells and whistles. So it was overwhelming for me trying to figure it all out. The layout is different than other ships I've been on, so it was very interesting to explore the ship and check it out. So how did you find the decor and the furnishings compared to other ships?
Yeah, I mean, it depended really on where you were on the ship. They had some really fancy bars and lounges, and then they had some pretty normal, seating elsewhere in decor. But I thought overall the dining room was very pretty, elegant looking. I really loved the layout of that. There was a few specific bars that we frequented that we thought were very classy and done up nice. They had a very nice vintage bar for wine.
Yeah, yeah, it was lots of different places for different folks depending where you want. The layout is very interesting, at least to me. You had the top deck that had all the activities, your water slides, your pools, all the areas you lounge out in the sun. And then you went all the way down towards the bottom of the ship and you had this main promenade. So it was kind of, for me, it was broken into two different pieces. You're either inside the ship with no view of the outside, and there was the top deck where you were exposed to the typical cruise life. So different layout for me. So we're going to talk a little bit about the layout a little bit later on. We're going to talk about the promenade. Specifically and our experience there and what's there to explore. We'll talk about that a little bit after we talk about food and entertainment, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about the top deck and the pool and how busy that is on a sea day and the activities that we did up there as well. So first of all, our favorite thing about cruising is the quality of food, and there's several different options. I think we eat the main dining room every night.
We did.
I think every
we did do the buffet one evening for dinner.
Okay, yeah. So 6 out of 7 nights we did the main dining room. We didn't do any specialty restaurants. But at the main dining room, how was it? Did you miss the specialty restaurants, or was it good experience?
The food quality was there. Yeah, it was. We had great waiters. We had a table for two, so we were relatively quick at getting our food because we weren't waiting for a large group of people. So we had great service, and the food was good. They have their staples that you can order every single night, and then they switch up and have a different variety throughout the week. So if there was ever anything on one night that didn't suit my fancy, I knew that they had some everyday items that I enjoyed.
Yeah, for sure. I would say the quality of food was comparable to other major cruise lines for sure. For me, I'm a picky eater, but I still was able to find vegetarian options, different types of meals other than just straight steak, seafood type of big meals. And I guess the only thing that I remember that caught my attention was how the dress code in the dining room. I was really surprised that the ship was very classy and beautiful, newer ship. And I saw people in like sportswear and outfits that I would have considered not cruise casual that I'm used to seeing in a dining room. And it kind of surprised me a little bit. I guess a lot of families. A lot of people from all walks of life on this type of a cruise. So I guess that's why you don't have your classic cruise dining room experience.
I would say there were more families and especially more children than any cruise we've ever been on. And that's saying something because we've been on 20-something plus Carnival ships, which normally are supposed to be for families. But I would say more kids on this ship than I've ever experienced.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. So the dining room was a good experience. We look forward to that every night for sure. We always do. Other eating venues. So breakfast, for example, we did a lot of, again, main dining room.
We did. We also did the cafe.
Yeah, we did the Promenade Cafe.
That's the name.
Yeah, we also did the buffet. Promenade Cafe was really nice because I had a variety of things for breakfast and lunch. There's little sandwiches and snacks and your coffee, tea, and all that. Was a really nice place to kind of stop in and grab things and go. So
it was quick and it was a lighter fare. It wasn't a big, heavy meal.
Yeah, when we have one of those inside rooms that overlooks the promenade and it overlooked the cafe, so I was nonstop hungry looking down there to see what was available and sneaking down for a snack all the time. So, and stay tuned. We're gonna have a video as well on their room, that inside facing what they call inside window.
Inside promenade.
Yeah,
Wasn't that
I
what it
forget
was?
the exact name of it, but it was a fantastic room. So definitely check out that video that we're going to do a little more detail on the room itself. So also on the promenade for options, we had for free options, there was the pizza.
Yeah.
Sorrento's Pizza, really good pizza. I think amongst my favorite of all cruise lines for pizza. So pizza place was really good. I'm trying to think about what else there was. There was some pay options there as well. There was like a Ben and Jerry's. There was a cupcake place.
Those were both pay options.
Yes. So there was a few places you could grab nibbles all on the promenade as well. So overall food. Oh, there was also the Johnny Rockets. We didn't go to Johnny Rockets. It's up on the top deck, up where the pools are, and it is a pay option as well for lunch. You pay a flat fee and then you order whatever's on the menu, I believe. So we didn't try that out at all. But overall food, I would say it was enjoyable. I had no complaints at all for food.
Lots of selection, especially at the Windjammer. A very large buffet, lots of different stations, and I mean, your plate is full before you get through.
Yeah.
Looking at all the food that they have there, there was a huge variety.
Yeah, it's not your type of buffet where you're lining up in long lines because everything's broken into these different stations, which was really handy. The only downside, it was very busy.
Very busy.
Everyone else also enjoyed it as much as we did because it was packed all the time at all meals, and we struggled to find a table at times. And that was the only negative to the buffet, was just how busy it was all the time. The next thing we'll talk about is entertainment. And entertainment, what do you think?
I loved the entertainment on the Royal Caribbean.
Yep.
The main theater shows were top notch, just phenomenal. Some of the best shows I've ever seen on a cruise line. They also had the on ice, the shows on ice.
Yeah, the
what
ice capades or
capades.
that type of thing. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Really enjoyed that, the venue.
Yeah, we're Canadian, so we're kind of used to that type of entertainment, and it was really impressive to us. Yeah.
Yeah, the shows were really good, and they had performers. We enjoyed listening to live music in some of the lounges with great performers. There was one band that we danced to many nights.
Yep.
In one specific room. So yeah, I would say that the entertainment was on the upper end of the best we've ever had.
But entertainment for me also was a highlight. I would say, as loyal as I am to some other cruise lines, we've really enjoyed the entertainment. I would say this was a little bit of a step above even that. That it was from the performers to the stage shows to the ice shows. Everything was. It was you were never disappointed if you sat down to be entertained on the Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we're going to do next is we're going to break the ship into two pieces as far as how it was for traffic and people and what to do. So we'll start in the promenade first. And when you walk along the promenade, you have options, everything from the location that you can book future cruises, the name of that, but
Next Cruise.
Next Cruise, that's what it's called. And I've never seen a place where you book future cruises as busy as this one.
It
was
was very
non-stop.
busy.
It was people.
They had some loyal customers that
Yeah.
are rebooking because it was never not a group of people in there.
There was people definitely booking more Royal Caribbean cruises on this.
Yeah.
And then you'd have your guest services as well in the same area, and you'd walk down and there'd be stores for buying souvenirs and Royal Caribbean swag, and your Promenade Cafe, your Ben and Jerry's. So there's a little bit of everything as you went down it. And
There was a pub there.
there was a pub, the Hoof and Claw, I think it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot to do there. For me, the only downside was there was so much to do there that if you're not up on the decks in the evening because the pools are pretty well shut down and it's cooling off, then everybody's down there all at once. So it can get pretty busy in the evenings.
Yeah, in the evenings it was very crowded for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I would think my favorite thing about the promenade was, well, of course, the food. the cafe was fantastic. That was on the promenade, and the Sorrento's pizza was really good. They didn't just have pizza; they also had salads and little things like that. And it was a nice spot just to sit down as well. Lots of seating there. Even the cafe, a nice casual spot to sit there, and it was kind of like being on like a main street somewhere where you'd sit there and you sat out almost on the equivalent of a patio and overlooked and watched the people go by. And there was sometimes shows going on. They'd have a parade that went through. There was a pirate parade one day through the promenade. So
2 parades, yeah.
I would say it was a really good experience. I didn't like being on a cruise ship in the promenade, not being able to see outside. My thing is, I'm on a cruise ship. I want to see the waves once in a while going by or see what's going on. I feel like I'm on the ocean. I felt like I was in a shopping plaza.
Yeah, you definitely had to sort of make sure that you were going outside, like make an effort to do it if you were going to see. And maybe we felt that a little bit more because we didn't have an ocean view or
True.
a balcony.
Yeah.
We had an inside window overlooking the promenade. But yeah, definitely there were times where you're like, oh, I haven't been outside in hours. I don't even know what it's like out there right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, and then the promenade is not just one level. There's a couple other levels. There's the main level that has all the things we've just discussed, but there's also another level right below that where you find your casino. And I guess what's impressive with this layout is there are stairwells that go down to the casino, but you don't get the smoke as much. No. We kept walking around thinking we'll see if we can find the smoke and smell the smoke. So we're very sensitive to it. I never had one issue with smoke the whole cruise.
I loved where the casino was located because unless you wanted to go to the casino, you didn't have to walk through the casino to get to the main dining room or to get to the main theater or any of that. So if you didn't want to be around it, you didn't have to be around it. So that was really nice in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then down at the casino, there was also the Spinnaker Lounge?
The Schooner's Bar?
Schooner Bar. So there's the lounge down there. There's also another specialty restaurant down there.
There's Sabre.
And Sabre's down there, as well as the art gallery, I believe, or the photo galleries down there. There's 2 levels below the main promenade, and the casino's the main part down there. You go down one more level and get to a place called the On Air Bar, and that's the access to where the ice skating is as well. And I believe that's where the art is on that 3rd level down.
Well, we went there for an art auction. Yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots to do there. And I guess my biggest complaint to all of that is the movement of people. Yeah, I would say my biggest concern on the ship all times was getting from spot to spot because there was only 2 banks of elevators.
That was a challenge for sure. When we were on this cruise, I was in the middle of dealing with a pretty significant illness, so I wasn't probably at my most energetic level, and so I was wanting to take the elevator more often than I normally would on a cruise ship, and we had to wait for sure. And we were
All the
never
time. Yeah.
in an elevator where we weren't crowded, and that there wasn't a lot of children generally playing elevator games, pressing every button. So yeah, the elevators were definitely probably the biggest downside to the whole cruise for me.
Yeah, Royal Caribbean, if you're watching, put in a 2nd or 3rd bank of elevators in the middle of the ship. Yeah, there was times that I definitely took the stairs simply because I had no other option. I saw food out the window, I had to have a muffin, and so I had to go down the stairs to get the muffin instead of the elevator.
Well, one flight of stairs isn't bad, but when you're, trying to go
Yeah.
up 10 flights, it was a bit of a challenge.
And then I guess we'll talk about the top deck, the pool area, all the activities, the perfect storm water slide. And so I guess, first of all, how busy did you find the pool deck on, especially sea days?
Very busy, very busy. The pools were constantly being used. We probably enjoyed it the most when we went there on a port day and most people were off the ship, and we were able to enjoy it the most. But on sea days, it was definitely packed. And it wasn't that it felt like there was too many people there, but you weren't able to get a chair. There was a lot of towels on a chair sometimes all day long, and you never saw anybody at it. So that, I think, was a bit of an issue there. We often tried to get a chair around one of the 3 pools and were unsuccessful.
Yeah, there's 2 pools kind of side by side in the center of the ship. There's a smaller adults pool with a little bridge towards the forward part of the ship. And then between those two, there's a kind of a kids splash pool area, tipping bucket, and water slides for children as well. So, and then what about the perfect storm area?
I loved it.
Well, unfortunately for me, fortunately for you, the pools were so busy we couldn't sit around the deck chairs that Jill dragged me up some of the water slides. And rides are not my thing, but she dragged me on this one
So
ride.
we were able to find loungers
Yeah.
in that area, and,
Yeah.
and a mixture of shade and sun ones, so that worked out well for us. So yeah, we enjoyed the water slides probably more than the pool, just because it was a quick way to cool off if you were out,
Yeah.
and it wasn't as busy as the pools for
Yeah.
some reason.
Against my will, I went on the tidal wave.
Many times.
4, 5 times at
least.
And this you carry up your own inflatable slide for 2 people, and you go all the way up to the top. You get in, it goes, kind of starts out like a water slide, like, okay, this isn't too bad, and then it shoots you down this big hill, and you're thinking, okay, this is maybe the final part of it, and then you start going back up. And you start going back up to the point where you're going to shoot off the top of the ship, and you're going to be left in the Caribbean Sea. Luckily, there was a metal barrier at the end of this thing that stopped us from getting off the ship. And then we come slide back down backwards, back into this other pool and swirl around, and then finally you regain consciousness and you're back up in the water and going again for the next time for some reason. So that was my experience. Was it the same for you?
No, you're a little melodramatic. It was a fun ride.
It must have been kind of fun because I did it more than once. And I survived barely. And then of course there's the surfing, what's they call that? The wave rider? No.
Flow rider.
Flow rider. The flow rider's there as well as a couple other water slides.
That was impressive just to even watch. We
Yep.
didn't try it, but they had demonstrations that staff would do it, and it was pretty impressive to watch them. And it was also kind of nice to watch and cheer on fellow guests who were attempting it for the first time and were able to do it. It was a lot of fun. That was entertaining. That was a great way to spend an hour or so in the afternoon just being in a observation area there.
Yeah, and there's another deck above the pool area that overlooks everything. The name of that, the Crown, and this area overlooks, I believe, the adults pool and the kids pool, and it kind of overlooks the front of the ship, I guess. So that's what's up top. Yeah, a little bit busy on sea days for sure, especially the adults only area. I had a real tough time finding any space. There might have been 2 or 3 dozen chairs there around the pool, and they are either covered with towels or people sitting in them. And
Well, and those pools were generally, like, a few times we went there thinking we'd just jump in the pool and not need a chair, but the pools were
Busy as
definitely
well.
the busier of the pools.
Yeah.
Was that adults area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. So I guess to wrap it up then, our Liberty of the Seas, my first Royal Caribbean and yours first North America. What stood out for you? What was your favorite part of the ship?
My favorite part of the ship was entertainment, for sure. I felt like the night shows were phenomenal. The live music was really good. Really enjoyed it. We got to experience a mixture of entertainment throughout the whole cruise, and so I looked forward to what was on every night for the next night.
And my favorite part of the ship would be, I would say, the room.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that this was the best, undoubtedly the best room that I've had on a cruise ship, and it wasn't even a balcony room. I think that there was so much seating, it was large, the bathroom was nice, the decor was really nice, the location was fantastic, that I think the room made it for me. If we wouldn't have had that room, it might not have been the same experience for me. Like the rest of the ship was a lot of fun and a lot of new things for me to explore for the first time, but the room still to this day sticks out as the one thing.
Yeah.
I really liked about that. But all in all, really good first experience for Royal Caribbean. I definitely see why they're so popular, especially with families. You could really get the vibe, the family vibe. Mm-hmm. It was kind of everybody's having a good time. It wasn't kind of the over-the-top crazy, March break crowd. It was more just enjoy a summer vacation family cruise, and I think that's their sweet spot perfectly.
Yeah. I think, if I had to do it over again, it would have been a cruise that when we had teenagers would have really appealed to teenagers. There's a lot of sort of adventurous things that they can do, and you can be as busy as you want on this ship, for sure. There's always something happening.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, thanks for joining us for our tour of the Liberty of the Seas, and if you have any questions, definitely post them below here in YouTube, and we will check them and help you out, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. But any last words, Liberty of the Seas? You get to go on another Royal Caribbean?
Absolutely. Loved it. I think that they had great customer service. They had great entertainment. It was something that I would highly recommend to anybody.
Yeah, me too. Thank you very much for watching today, and check out our channel. There'll be lots more videos coming, and now that cruising started up again, we will be doing lots of vlogs and things to come. So take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.